My name is Jose Omar Funes Monterrosa. My introductions about the distance between us by Reina Grande. The title is based on physical and emotional separation between the author Reina Grande and her father Natalio Grande for almost 8 years when she was barely 2 years. The distance for almost 2,000 miles continued emotionally when she traveled to the United States and discovered with her siblings that her father is a violent and alcoholic. Reina Grande was born on September 7, 1975 in Iguala Guerrero, in Mexico, in condition of extreme poverty. Reina Grande attended Pasadena City College, later in the University of California in Santa Cruz, where she received a BA in creative writing. Subsequently, she obtained her master's degree in creative writing in Antioch University. Also, she won the American Book Award and the Aztlán Literature Award. Grande becomes a member of the prestigious Macondo Writer Workshop, which was founded by Sandra Cisneros. The Distance Between Us was published in August 28, 2012, and it's dedicated to her father Natalio Grande. It was manufactured in the United States of America. And this inspired in Answer Bengali, Honest Memories. Acclaimed author Reina Grande described her childhood divide between the United States and Mexico. When her father traveled to the United States, she and her siblings are forced into the already overlit home and their sterile grandmother. Later, her father returned, and she prepared her own journey. The funny, heartbreaking, and lyrical, the distance between us abundantly captured the confusion and contradiction of childhood. The constant appearance of domestic violence caused me a sad reaction, knowing that in such a distant place of country, the model is reputed as a perfect copy of abuse in a family. Part number 2, the summaries of the text. The characters that appeared from the beginning to the end of the book are Reina, Carlos, and Mago, brothers who shared the plot of a life of the struggles in the midst of poverty and domestic violence in the rural area of Iguala, state of Guerrero in Mexico. It all began in 1980 when Reina was 4 years old, and after almost 2 decades of adventures between joys and sufferings, she obtained a degree from the University of California in June 1999. 8 years away from her loving father in Mexico, and 11 in the United States, next to the man who would break his heart with pain and tears from the physical abuse. At the beginning of the story, the setting of the land is Iguala in Guerrero, Mexico, a place under poverty and abandoned by the government. During the 2 years of orphanhood, Reina and her siblings are taken by their mother and their stern grandmother Evila. At the end of the 2 years, her mother Juana appeared with a new member of the family, Betty, and then appeared her father with a new wife. After 8 years, and without seeing her children. Emperatriz Evila's daughter is doting aunt who tries to support her nephews all the time. With a very complicated family economy, Natalio decides to take the 3 children of them to their new home in Los Angeles. Upon arrival of the United States in 1985, Mila, Natalia's new wife, is a Mexican American nurse who support her husband and legalize the status of the three young brothers. Natalia lose her vision about the family when he falls in alcoholism and domestic violence. But ultimately, nothing will stop the Reina from achieving the American dreams. The narrator's direct contact with the book's account adds the unique detail of the story that allow the reader to have a very familiar experience of the event. Part number 3, the textual analysis. In the context of the book, The Distance Between Us, it is divided into parts. The first, Mi Mamá Me Ama, is the expectation of the girl born in Mexico, Reina Grande, in the city of Guerrero, which during 2018 was the second poorest state. It is through the chapter 1 in June 1980 where she recounts her breaking beginnings of her orphanhood with the siblings. The siblings who suffered strongly longing for the love of a mother and a father. It is until May 1980, in chapter 19, that her father Natalio reappears, and her children, hoping to have a family, begin the legal journey al otro lado. The second part of the book is titled The Man Behind the Glass. The second book alludes to the greatest love in the life of Reina and her mother and her fathers. Reina, with only 12 years old, and her siblings are enforced by a poverty, domestic violence, and a family destruction to embark on their own adventure. And Mexico represents 10.8% of the population in the United States, and where Reina and her family decide to live. The city of Los Angeles, where the largest number of Mexican immigrants accumulate and where the Reina will be able to reach their dreams. This incredible reading reflects the common evil that has subjected the Hispanic world for decades, and leaps out like a voice in the midst of the dispossessed, abandoned, in a foreign land, for which the author motivates the readers to carry out a fierce fight for their dreams until that reach them. Part number 4, personal reaction. And the personal reaction in the first part of the book, the setting is Mexico. My reaction as a reader was an effect of a sadness because it is described or detailed the drama of the life of violence and family poverty in which the people are subjected to the different view of government and a rich people. In book of the new setting, book number 2, the new setting is the United States, where the hopes of Reina and her siblings to find a good father are broken when they look at their father Natalio enslaved to alcoholism. Natalio and his family being the victim of the consequence of it. And the title of the success in the life of separation between Reina and what she loved the most, her parents. The narration fulfills the objective of making the readers aware that difficult circumstances in life should not be the frustration that stop anyone from seeing dreams come true. A highly appreciated book that every Hispanic should read. Part number 5, Conclusion. Taking into consideration the facts of the analysis of the text and on domestic violence by her grandmother Evila and her father Natalio, the family disintegration and poverty, the infidelities of her mother Juana, are the barrier that will not be enough to break the dreams and desire of the girl, who does not faint even when she does understand the fact, and who is creating her own defenses when thinking about the motivation word of Mago. Her sister says, it doesn't matter that there's a distance between us now, that the card is there forever. It is reality not too distant from what has been lived in this panic world for decades, for which the feeling of sadness spring up without the lie, but at the same time the strong spirit of struggling for our dreams.